Welcome to Landover, Maryland. For the 15th consecutive year, the Prince George County Sports and Learning Complex will host the Northeast Conference Indoor Track and Field Championships. Over the next 2 days here in this facility, nearly 600 student athletes will compete in championship events. There'll be 17 events on the women's side, 17 events on the men's side, and when it's all said and done on Sunday evening, we will crown men's and women's team champions. The race for the team title should be an interesting one on both sides, as a number of elite athletes compete here at the Northeast Conference Indoor Championships. We'll break it all down for you in the coming minutes. First, we'll start on the women's side with the race for the team title. Sacred Heart, your defending team champion, and there are high hopes for the Pioneers again this year. The Pioneers were picked as a pre-meet favorite in a poll of Northeast Conference head coaches. They'll face some stiff competition, though, and the coaches think that competition will come from the LIU Brooklyn Blackbirds. Also, look out for those Robert Morris Colonials. They were picked third in the pre-meet poll, but they're looking to finish in the number 1 spot. Now we'll run through the sprints, the distance events, and a few field events, and some things that you should keep an eye on this weekend here in Landover, Maryland. In the women's sprints, this is an area where the LIU Brooklyn Blackbirds are hoping to excel. If they are to dethrone Sacred Heart as the team champion, they'll have to pick up mega points here in the 60, the 200, and the 400 meter. The good news for LIU Brooklyn, they have the top 2 seed times in each of those sprinting events. Then when it comes to the 500 meter dash, Blackbirds own the first, second, and third top times on the NEC list. But look out, because in that 500 meter, Fairleigh Dickinson has a fabulous freshman named Mae Thompson who's looking for gold. In the distance events, which start with the 800 meter, 2 twin sisters from New Jersey who compete for Wagner College, Emily and Kelly Pereira, are the top 2 seeds in this event. They've also shown scoring ability in the 500 meter dash at different points in their career. When it comes to the longer distances, a lot of Central Connecticut and Sacred Heart names are at the top of those performance lists. For instance, in the mile, you have Brittany Mendelson and Elizabeth Eberhardt for Central Connecticut. They both ran sub-5-minute miles and ranked first and second on the league performance board. In third and fourth, right behind the 2 Blue Devils, that would be Sacred Heart's Emma Bolduc and Liz Hutchins. So those NEC Nutmeg State schools will have a strong representation when it comes to the distance events. Then out in the field, another area where you're going to see a key competition between Sacred Heart and LIU Brooklyn. LIU's Kiara Wright Harmon is the favorite to win the triple jump and also has a top mark in the high jump. Although in the high jump, she'll have to compete with Central Connecticut senior Renee Saunders, who has won her share of hardware here at the Northeast Conference Championships. Over in the long jump, here's an area where Sacred Heart hopes to pick up at least 10 points. Sophomore Nicole Bartosh is the defending long jump champion. She also has some hopes of scoring in the high jump, possibly the hurdles as well. In terms of her team's chances to repeat as meet champs, Bartosh likes the odds, and here's why.
I mean, we have some really strong athletes. We have some really strong freshmen that just came in. We've been putting down some solid performances, so I mean, we can only hope to put it all together this weekend. If we go out there and we give it our all, I think we have a good chance of coming away with the championships. So.
Now let's switch it over to the men's side, where the LIU Brooklyn Blackbirds are the defending meet champions, and they, as Sacred Heart was on the women's side, were voted as the pre-meet favorite heading into this one. The Blackbirds are eyeing up their third title since 2010, but Not so fast, LIU. Central Connecticut State has high hopes of recapturing the team title they last won back in 2011. And those CCSU Blue Devils, they're riding high because they were the 2014 NEC Outdoor Team Champs. The coaches also seem to be pretty high on Sacred Heart's chances to snag that team title. They've only won it once before. That was back in 2008. Now let's run through those men's events, sprints, distance, field, and give you a good idea of what to expect over the next 48 hours. We start in the sprints, and that's where the repeat bid starts for LIU Brooklyn. The Blackbirds have 5 of the top 7 seeds in the men's 200-meter dash, highlighted by the man, Canadian-born Brendan Rodney. He ranks second amongst all Division I sprinters with his 200-meter seed time of 20.69. Trust me, he's pretty fast. Rodney is not only the defending champion in the 200-meter, but he also struck gold in the 60-meter dash last year. And of course, he enters this year's event as the number 1 seed in that one. For you NEC football fans out there, though, there's one name that you may know who has a shot to dethrone Rodney in that 60-meter dash. It's Central Connecticut State sophomore Javon Elmore, a rising star in CCSU's defensive backfield. Elmore has been training with the track team in the offseason, and he's run sub-7 seconds on a number of occasions in the 60. His best time, 6.91, well under the qualifying standard for the IC4A Championships. So we've seen him do it on the gridiron. Let's see what he can do out on the track, but he'll have some tough competition. He'll have to take down one of the best in the nation in Brendan Rodney. Now, while Rodney has a extremely good chance to break the record in the 200-meter dash, the event that I'm circling is the 400-meter dash. And that's because the 2 men who finished in a dead heat last year, yes, a dead heat tie for first place, CCSU's Jamal Frooster and LIU Brooklyn's Alistar McLean, they're both back and they want the title for themselves this year. But a new star has emerged in FDU's Shaquan Williams. He'll be in the title conversation, as will a couple of others. When it comes to the 500-meter dash, the aforementioned Williams is the favorite coming into the weekend. We stretch it out now to the distance races. This is where CCSU tends to excel. In particular, Patrick Hubble with the top time in both the men's mile and the men's 3K. Whether he wins both, wins one, 10 points, 20 points, 18, 8, all of that will help if the Blue Devils are hoping to snag that team title. Now, while LIU Brooklyn is light in the distance events, they'll look to make some more money out there in the field, specifically the jumps. Blackbirds own the top 3 marks in the triple jump, Amir Armstrong leading the way. Then in the long jump, they return the defending champion, the British-born Adam Walker-Kahn. He's back for his sophomore season, but he's going to have to compete with an improved Matthew Kane. The Wagner jumper is right on Walker-Kahn's heels when it comes to that performance list. We'll see how it shakes out here in Landover. As for Kane, the Wagner jumper is also the pre-meet favorite in the high jump. He's already cleared 7 feet this season. And one more event to keep an eye on, the men's 60-meter hurdles. Going back to the track, Mount St. Mary's Julian Woods opened the season back in December with a 7.97 time in those 60-meter hurdles. If he were to run that this weekend, he could call himself the new NEC Championship meet record holder. We are expecting a number of records to fall by the wayside this weekend. One of the men who can do it, the aforementioned Brendan Rodney, but he's not worried about records. He's just worried about bringing another team title back to Brooklyn. He explains here.
Well, I mean, we have to get the same contributions as last year. Alistair, Adam, Jonathan, all of them got to go out there and just compete like they've been competing all season. Everybody on the team has talent, and they all work hard. Like any day in practice, they're in front of me, gassing me out. I mean, we all work really hard. So if they go out there and compete like I know that they can, and they know they can, I mean, it's a good chance that we can come out and win the championship again.
So there you have it. 34 events await. About 600 athletes are ready to go, fired up, going to compete here over the 2-day championship event in Landover, Maryland. For NEC Front Row, I'm Ralph Entry from the PG County Sports and Learning Complex. Until next time.